Should Lamar, at this point, want to stay in Baltimore?
Absolutely. I mean, he should. Why not? Just it's negotiations. You can't get all bent out of shape in this situation. It's a negotiation tactic. That is what's going on. Him and his family are negotiating along with the NFLPA, giving him some advice. And they'll franchise tag him if they don't get a deal done by 4 p.m. Eastern time today. And then they'll have another several months to try to work things out and try to get a long-term deal. You can't get all so caught up in your emotions in these situations. We're talking about big dollars. We're talking about a lot of money. So you got to take a step back and you got to negotiate with your mind in the right place. You can't take an emotional approach and say, well, since you don't want to give me my $50+ million and reach that 200 and something million dollar level that Deshaun Watson got, I want out. I want out of here. I want out of here. You're not showing me any respect. It's negotiations. Every time you get into a negotiation and it doesn't start off right the way you want it to, you can't all of a sudden take your bag and just run with it. It's going to be a time and a point, though, where I would say Lamar needs to tell him, you know what, never mind. But I don't think it's right now. I think right now, just keep negotiating and see where it goes.
Utterly ridiculous thing I've ever heard Keyshawn Johnson say. This man, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell y'all something about Keyshawn Johnson, okay? Keyshawn Johnson is an extraordinary businessman. Keyshawn Johnson dots the I's, cross the T's. The man knows business. He can give lessons on negotiations. He can give lessons on all the things that he talked about. And this man knows the difference between a negotiation that's respectful and a negotiation that is insulting. And if you insult, look, Molly, you see that mug on Keyshawn Johnson, insult him and see where that gets you. See if he gonna sit up there and go like this. Well, you know what? It was insulting last week, but we good, we all cool, because we just gotta have the right mindset for the negotiations. We'll move forward. It ain't no biggie. Please, that is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard in my life come out of the mouth of Keyshawn Johnson. There is a difference between respectful negotiations and insulting negotiations. And when you're talking about $133 million guaranteed at a time where Russell Wilson gets $165 million guaranteed, where Kyler Murray's at $189 million guaranteed, in a day and age where the market is set by previous contemporaries, and that is usually what sets the deal. Maybe Deshaun Watson is an outlier. We got that. $230 million guaranteed given to him by an absolutely desperate Cleveland Browns organization that hasn't done anything since Jim Brown was playing football for them in 1964. We understand that's an outlier, but Kyler Murray ain't an outlier, Aaron Rodgers ain't an outlier, Russell Wilson ain't an outlier. Come on now. And then you got Daniel Jones. Don't get me started with this dude. You understand what I'm saying? Saquon Barkley in a bag of chips playing for the New York Giants, and his quarterback think that he should get about $45 million a year. He should be drug tested today. That is utterly ridiculous. But in the case of Lamar Jackson, you can't come to him with $133 million guaranteed. I love seeing
that wasn't the question, though, Stephen A.
That
wasn't the question.
Should he stay in Baltimore? I'm saying no. I'm saying he should look to move on. Now, obviously, they can tag him not once, just twice, and I get all of that. I understand it. And there's certain options that he may not have available to him, depending on what they do with an exclusive or non-exclusive tag. But $133 million guaranteed, that is insulting. Don't sit up here and say he shouldn't be insulted by that.
But here's what I'm going to say. You're not going to be slick. You're not going to have the people out there thinking that I said he should accept $133 million.
No, I didn't say that.
That's not what I said. No,
that's
you
not
didn't.
What you said.
But you are alluding to that with your slickness. You know how you do.
I'm saying he should be insulted.
And he probably should, but it doesn't mean that he has to take this approach to get me out of here right now. That's not. They have time.
It's been going on for a year, Keyshawn. It's been going on for a year.
Have time before he says, get out of here. The draft is in April, okay? Nobody's trading anybody or doing anything till April. So he has time as 4 p.m. Eastern time today. On top of that, the great Hall of Famer tie-in executive Ozzie Newsome. Ozzie Newsome knows. Ozzie Newsome drafted him when 31 other teams wouldn't even look at him at the quarterback spot. So there's a certain level of respect that's there. Ozzie Newsome knows that they got to get this kid his money if they want him to be happy in Baltimore and playing. It's a negotiation. Yes. Is it embarrassing to the organization that you start at 133, according to Adam Schefter and Christopher Martin, that, hey, we're going to give you 133 guaranteed and everybody else is getting 180 and 170? Yes, it's embarrassing to the organization, but it's just the beginning. So to take the approach right now, Stephen A., that I want out, that I wouldn't take that approach. Okay. I would wait till I get closer to a point where we get into the draft. Now you haven't given me my money. Now you might want to approach them and say, you know what? It's time to move me. It's time to get the value for me. Because if they put the non-exclusive tag on him, I can almost guarantee you he's going to be gone. Yeah, he's going to be gone.
All right, let's
they're not going to match 133. So if you got 133 and somebody giving him a 260, 265, they not getting ready to go all the way up to another $130 million. They just not going to do it.
Is this signing, are they feeling good?
I think people are feeling good in New Orleans about this situation. For whatever reason, Carr gets somewhat of a bad name at the quarterback position. And don't get to looking like that. And when you think about where he's been in his career, 9 years, 6 different head coaches. And if I name these head coaches, you wouldn't take not one of them, right? You sit there and you go, hell no, because you don't want John Gruden. You certainly didn't want Jack Del Rio. You didn't at the time want Dennis Allen. Okay, the late Tony Sperano, you didn't want him. Okay, Rich Bisaccia was an interim coach. He's gone through 6 different head coaches. He had Amari Cooper for a short stint. He elevated Nelson Aguilar, helped Nelson Aguilar get paid. Darren Waller came off the streets. He resurrected his career, helped him get off and get his money. So when you start, the Michael Crabtree came from the 49ers to the Raiders. He showed some promise with him. So when you look at his career, you sit there and you say, okay, he's only played in 1 playoff game and they lost to Cincinnati, yada, 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 yada. All of those sort of things. But circumstances are something when you play a certain position. And if you're not put in the right spots in situations at the quarterback spot, you're never going to look the way people want you to look. But there's value there. That's why the New Orleans Saints made the decision to go out and get him. Because that's why the Jets wanted him. Because there's value there. I don't care what Stephen A. and that frown on your face is shaking your head.
I'm not frowning.
If this team is healthy, if this team is 100% healthy and they stay healthy all year long with him at the quarterback spot, they're going to make a strong run in that NFC.
Who's being slick now? Who's being slick now? So in other words, you just going to bring up Derek Carr, right? And you just going to just bypass the fact that he in the NFC South. No Tom Brady anymore. The Atlanta Falcons and the Carolina Panthers.
Is that his fault?
They're going to make a run. They're going to make some noise.
Is that his fault? Is that his fault?
Listen to what I'm saying. I'm saying with or without him, you could make a case that New Orleans got the NFC South for this upcoming season. So
no, you can't. No, you can't.
Excuse me, Tampa, Atlanta, and Carolina?
No, you
Why
can't.
not?
They won 7 games. They won 7 games last year.
That's right.
They won 7
with
games.
Andy Dalton and Jameis
They
Winston.
won 7 games.
Listen, bro, what I'm saying to you is that with that defense in that division, they get the division by default. We ain't even got to speculate. New Orleans Saints winning the NFC South with ease with them brothers on that defensive side of the ball. Please, you know that. So now let's get to Derek Carr because you are absolutely hilarious. See, I love this. You got the audacity to call me slick, right? You just conveniently forget this was your MVP candidate. You conveniently forget that you've religiously been talking about him as a top 10 quarterback in the National Football League for the last couple of years. You conveniently gloss over those things. Now, you bring up all of these coaches that he played for. I got that. Well, let me ask you this question, Keyshawn. How about reversing it? How about maybe if he were a better quarterback, they wouldn't have needed all them damn coaches. You know what I'm saying?
Do you know anything about that defense he had, the Raiders? Stephen A. If you don't stop.
Oh, come on, man.
Come on, now. That defense.
Listen, I know this. That's fair. I know this, though. The brother been, listen, Derek Carr is a damn
A
good
coach
quarterback.
that got fired in the middle of the year, he had to take over the team.
Can I speak? Can I speak? Can I speak? Can I speak? I know what you're trying to do because you know your football. You understand? And you got your inside information. I got all of that. You understand? I come to you asking you this stuff. I know you know what you're talking about. But I'm just saying, it's not, see, Keyshawn Johnson, ladies and gentlemen, don't argue with this brother about his facts. He knows his facts. It's the perspective that you got to wait for. That's what you attack. And that's where I'm getting at here. I'm going to ask it again. I understand what you're saying about the defense, but the brother been in the National Football League for 9 years. He don't have one single playoff victory on his resume. I'm just saying. All of that's the coaches and the systems and the turnover. How come it can't be him too? How come it can't be the case?
You know about the draft, right? You
Yes,
know
I
about
do.
the draft. You
Yeah,
know when you draft players,
little something.
they're supposed to be on your team for a number of years in certain draft classes.
Yeah.
In 28, there's not one player on the Raiders team from the 2018 draft. Not one player. So when you look at the organization is in flux. They all over the place.
Yeah.
I agree.
One player, man.
All right.
That's unheard of.
I'm just saying, if he that dude, you could get one playoff victory in 9 years.
Okay, we got to go. We got to go.
You don't have no players around you, man. Your coaches aren't good. You can't do it all by yourself.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN Plus.